Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture 6 of Object-Oriented Programming with C# course. So let's start our lecture with composing a new project. So I'm going to compose a VPF project within .NET Core framework. I am selecting it from my recent list. You can also select it from here. Okay, let's select the repository, the folder of the project. Okay, and let's name the project as lecture 6. Okay, so today we will start with saving object state into a file and then reading it back. Okay, I will start with composing a custom class. It will be cars. Okay, so it will be a public class and I'm going to set some attributes, fields to it. Car brand, which should be by default, let's say BMW. And I can also use get and set method like this, prop, top, and let's say car price. Okay, so this is being a property and this is being a field. Okay, I think we had explained the difference. Okay, then let's give it some more properties. Color. By default, I'm going to make it black. And car weight. You know, since these are integer, by default they are 0. I can also set these by default NA, not available or not available again. Okay, then one moment again. Okay, let's set another attribute. This time I'm going to set it as car. What else there could be? You can also use real data sets. Okay, brand, model, year, and what else there are? Color, win, lot. Okay, I'm going to set a car and okay, you see there is title, model, brand. Let's give it a model as well. Okay. So now we have our custom class. You see this is called property and this is called field, and let's remember the Field versus properties in C Sharp.
A field is a variable that is declared directly in a class or struct. ... A property is a member that provides a flexible mechanism to read, write, or compute the value of a private field. Properties can be used as if they are public data members, but they are actually special methods called accessors.
Okay, in our current usage, there is no difference currently because we didn't modify get and set methods. However, let's modify get and set of car weight. So how am I going to do that is let's open example. Okay, like this. And to do that, we are going to define ir car weight, and it will return car weight or set car weight. This way, what I'm going to do is it will return as default, and what I'm going to set is if car weight is below, let's say 500, I will set it as 500. Okay, so I am modifying the set method. I think we have shown this. So default value will be like 500, and okay, so this is about properties versus fields. This is being a field, and this is being a property. Okay, now let's add a button to create our class and save it, create objects of our from our class and save it. So I'm going to name the button as car objects. Let's change the content as compose car objects. From properties of the button, let's change appearance a bit. What I'm going to do is let's change the font type to Comic Sans MS. Let's make the size 18 pixels. So you see, when I modify properties window, it is also modified here because actually the software reads here. This is just the user graphical interface of modification. It is actually saved on XAML code. Okay, so you see the font size is this one and font family is this one. Let's add a event which will be click event. I'm tapping double click. Okay, so from this class we are going to compose objects cars. My car equal to new cars, or let's say car 1, and then let's compose another car, car 2, new cars. This time I'm going to set the values as like this: price 250, weight 250, car brand equal to, let's say, BMW, car color equal to, let's say, red, and car model equal to, what models there are? Okay, BMW 228, and let's see how they are looking in the program right now. So I'm starting the software and I have put a breakpoint. Okay, compose car object. So now I have car 1 and car 2. Car 1 is the default. You see car weight is 0, car price is 0, car weight is 0. Actually, this is private values, therefore I cannot access it from anywhere else but within the class itself. So what I can access is this one, car price, it's a property, car weight, it's a property, car brand, it's a field. You see they have different icons and they are NA by default, and car color NA, and car model null. Okay, so why it is null? It is null because we didn't set any default value to it. And in the car 2, you see car weight is 5. Why it is 5 even though I did set it to 250? Because in my modified get method, it sets it to the 500 if the value is below 500. That is why. Okay, I can also modify the get method and I will show it in a moment. And then the other values are as I have said. So let's modify the get method. To do that, I'm going to change the car price this time. So the car price, I will set the car price as it is. Or let's keep the car price and add another property from this dataset. It was somewhere around here. Okay, here. Okay. So I'm going to set a year property, prop, double tap, and IR production year. And I'm going to compose its private value, private int. Okay, and I'm going to modify the get method. Okay, so to modify the get method, return. Okay, I'm going to make it like if IR production year is below 1850, return 1850. Okay, all else return this. And to set, this time I have to set it like this. May I remove the set? Would it work? Yes. If I remove the set, it is using the default set, I believe. So let's try. Let's add. Oh, currently it is now not settable. What I mean is production year equal to this. You see, this is throwing an error. It says property or indexer cannot be assigned. It is read only. Why it is read only? Because I didn't define a set method to it. Okay. Therefore, this can be only read only. So I'm going to compose a set method, and it will be IR production year equal to value. So you see, when I hover over my mouse over value, it says it is parameter integer value, which is coming from the set method. I mean from the method code. Here, let's make it 90. Okay. So when I look for the variables, let's see how they are visible to me. Okay, so let's see the value of car 2. You see the production year is displayed as 1850. However, in reality it is 1825. but I cannot access 1825 because my get method is modifying it. Okay, so the value I can get is from this get method. I can't access this variable out of this class's scope, which is this one. The scope of this class is starting from here and here, and it is ending here. Therefore, the only way to access this private value is possible within this scope, the scope of the class, and therefore from out of the class I can access this value only from this public interface and from this get method. Okay, I can't even try to print it. What I mean is, let's say message box show production year and type, okay, car 2 production years. So you see there is no values that I can access like this. It will give me error. It says it's inaccessible due to its protection level. Its protection level is private. If I make it public or protected, I can access. However, that is not what I want. So the production year is this way accessible. So let's make the third way of assignment to let you learn. And I can set the values of car 3 like this. Okay, 5,000. Car weight equal to 2,500. Car 3 no dot production year equal to 2,000. Car 3 dot brand is, let's say this time another brand, which is Ford. Okay, and car 3 car brand, I mean the car model. So let's set the colors. Color will be, let's say, white. And car 3 car model will be, I really don't know anything about cars. Okay, this one, anything is working. So I can assign the values of an object like this as well. Okay, and whenever I make assignment, the set method will be called if it is defined as property. Okay, so this is property. You see it has this icon is in front of it, and however this is for example, this one is field, so it is directly assigned. I cannot modify how to get it or set it, and this is the difference. There can be also other differences in iteration or such things. Then I am going to compose a list of cars like this. Cars. Okay. List. And I will make it like this, so it will be easier. Car 1, car 2, and car 3. Okay. And I want to save list of my cars to somewhere and read it back. In this case, in this example, I want to save it into a text file. How can I do that and how can I read it back? do you think? Okay, I will show the proper and easier way, and I will show the simple but harder way. Okay, so the simple way, or let's say the basic way, it is not simple. I can define a save method inside this uh, class. It will be public void save object state to, or let's say just save to a file, and it will take string as our file name. And what it is going to do is, let's define a string builder as our builder, and I'm going to make it like this. Then I am going to append values of each variable. Okay, so append line. Okay, I can keep the order, or I can use the variable names. The design is totally up to you, so I'm going to use it like this. I will separate it with semicolon and plus this dot sr carburant. Okay, this means in this context the class itself. Okay, this class. What I mean is, when we define an object of that class, now when you call this inside of this object, it means the car3 instance. Okay, these are, each one of them is an instance of a class, and this means whatever the values are in that particular instance. Okay, so this is actually equal to this. So both would work. You see, it says name can be simplified and remove this qualification. Both works. Okay, so I will show the both way. Car price will be car price. Let's copy paste the things. Oh, okay, so if I also had a list, it would become even harder to save. Let's also add a list object, and list could be, let's define it as prop, and I'm going to define it as repair years. Okay, so you can also set the list like this, equal to new integer list, and it is repaired in 1995, 1999, or whatever. And I'm going to set car3 repair years like this, and then years at 2002, and car3 let's repair years at 2005. Okay, I'm going to show you something else as well. So now the production year is 2000, however repair year is 1950. So this is an incorrect adding. Therefore I can add a method to check it here. What I mean is this one. So how can I modify the set of listed? I don't know by memory, so I'm going to check how it can be done. And Oh, I see. Hmm. Didn't get. Okay, it looks like it is not easily possible. I think we need to. I see. Okay, we need to override the at method, so therefore it is not that possible. It becomes harder. Okay, perhaps this would work. I'm just going to make an assumption, return. To do this, of course, we need years, and it will be by default. Define it like this, initialize it, then this will return this, and this will set this. However, after the setting, I will iterate number of each element. Each element I will iterate, and if so, this is not very effective. This can cause lots of performance problems as well. However, I am doing some lame solution. Production year. I will set it as like this. I can use this word, or I may not use this word as well. It's up to me. So each time when we set value of list repairs, it will be this will be called. However, I am not sure it will work in this model. How? I mean, let's run the application to see. This may work as expected, but I am not sure the other way. Okay, I'm going to step into. Okay, it is now at here. Then it returned that. Oh, it only gets. It doesn't set the value like this. However, since this is working, I can apply the same thing here. So whenever it is read, it will be updated, and I can just make it like this. Okay. So whenever the add method is used, it is calling the get method, and let's test it. So the car production year is this, and I'm going to set another repair year like this and like this. Let's see how will it work. I have never used this, so I am not sure how it will behave, but we are making here some extreme examples. Okay, so let's check the car too. Let's check the repairs. Oh, okay, so it is working right now. You see, the minimum repair year is automatically modified like this. Whenever the get method is called, and it is called every time when we call the add, so it is iterating through every object inside the repair years and setting if it is lower than the year. Okay, it is working, but I wouldn't say this is the most efficient way or proper way, but it is working. Okay, so we were writing a save to a file method, coding a save to a file method, and car brand, car price, car color. Okay, car color. Then what else we have? Car weight. You see, I am only coding public variables, not the private ones, because I can access them inside here, but I don't need to. Car weight and car model. Okay, I'm just appending them like this. And production year. Okay. And repair years. Okay, how am I going to code this? So, by the way, I have used semicolon as a separator. However, if the brand is containing this character, or any of the string is containing this character, my save method would fail. So how can I prevent that? I can compose an arbitrary split string. So I'm going to set it as our split string. Okay, and it will be something arbitrary that will be highly impossible for to be contained. Okay. Okay, something like this. So this will be my special split string. Okay, and I will be using this 1 minute. Okay, instead of this arbitrary split string key, we can use also hashing function, which I am going to add a hashing function here. It will be so easy to do. Okay, so I'm going to add a class, and let's name it as static methods. Let's use sh256. Okay. Okay, here it is compute hash, and this will be public static. Okay, and I'm going to define a static key. I'm going to make it read only, so it will never get changed. Let's say split value key, it will be equal to split dot. To use compute hash, we will add using system cryptography. 1 minute. Okay. Then it will be hashed value of compute this string. Okay. With this split value key, I will be add keys. So I'm going to remove this, or I can assign this to my static methods and split value key. Both would work. However, this would increase my object size bit with one string length of the key. Okay. And then when adding, instead of this, I will add them like this. Okay. And okay. So, what about lists? Okay. To add list, I need another separator, and I'm going to make it like SR split list separator. Let's name this as split separator, split value separator. And it will be rename it. Okay. And split list I will use. And let's define it here. SR or we can directly use it like this. Okay, let me show you. So I will be embed here using, I will be embedding it like this, so you will get more idea, a better idea of how to use it. So I have deleted them, and I have directly put the name of the variable here. However, as you can see, it is currently giving error. It says that the name SR split value separator does not exist in the current context. How can I make it exist? I can use it like this, by the way, dot static methods dot SR split value separator. This would work. However, there is also another way, which is adding this static method as a using here, using one second. This time I will type my full namespace dot static methods or something like that. Okay, 1 second. I'm trying to remember it. Using static fully qualified name. Okay, so it will be inside and methods, and I will add static. Okay, I can't see it, but oh, okay, like this. Okay, now it works. So I have added static word in front of the full qualified name, which is this one. So our namespace is lecture 6, and method class name is static method. Now this variable is let's say available to use here. You see it shows its path as a field static read-only string from static methods file. And now to save the list objects, I will be needed another separator. So it will be like string join, and it takes first the character separator or string separator, whatever you want, and separator. So it will be list separator, and parameters will be our list, which is this dot repair years. Okay, so what will this method do? This method will turn my object into a string, and from there I will be able to load it back. So let's use it on car2. So car2 and save to file method call, and it should be named as car2.txt text. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here, and let's see how our save to a file method works. Okay. Okay, I'm clicking my button. Okay, now I will step into, if I step over, it will be automatically saved. So I am getting into file, and so the method call is called, the method is called. So first it is composing. Let's close this for now. So we will have better view. Okay. The string builder is composed, then lines will be appended it. Okay, and then we need to save it to the file. How? It is like, it will be like this: file, right? To use file, I need to add its library. Oh, I need to stop it because otherwise it doesn't work. Using system IO. Let's edit ourselves. IO to output. Okay, and we will call write all text method and sr builder to string. Okay, and the file name will be taken from the here. Okay, so let's put breakpoint here, and let's rerun the application, and let's open the directory of the debug folder. Okay, we have opened it. Okay, currently it is not there, and when I execute this line of code with step over, we will see the generated file, and when we open it, you see sr carbrand and then the hashed key. This is the hashed key of what, if you wonder, it is the hashed, it is the let's open the solution explorer. It is the hashed value of split word. Okay, it is the SHA-256 value of split keyword, and you see this is the list of repairs years. You see it is extremely confusing and hard to read. It is almost like encrypting or encoding. Okay, so now that we have did save, this is the save of this object. Now we can restore it. How can we restore it? To restore the object, I am going to write another method, and it will be load from file. It will take file name. This time it will load the file into a string object, file.read all text from sr file name, and var text. By the way, var keyboard automatically gets the type of the right side of the equation, which is in this case string. Then I will read every value like this for each, or let's make it read all lines. In this case it will be a string array, as you can see. Okay, per line, all, or you can make it like this as well, which will be even more performance way. File read lines, not all lines, but read lines. Okay, and sr file name. So it wouldn't be directly loaded into the entirely loaded into the RAM. It will be read by line. Then we will split the line like this. How key will be vr line by split with the which value? Value separator. Currently, split method doesn't have, it has string because we are using .NET Core, and now we are going to use switch. How did I make it appear like this? When I type SWE, the code snippet appears, and when I double tap, it is generating like this, and it will take vr key, and the values will be like this. We don't need default value. So if it is sr kbrand, by the way, it would be first or default like this. If the case is sr carbrand, we will set the this.sr carbrand equal to vr key last or default. Okay, or last. Let's make it also the first. So our each value will be as first one, the first of the split. We can also make it like this, by the way, 0 and 1. It is same. The first value of the split will be these ones, and the second will be the values that we have saved. And then if it is car price, it will be car price like this. Okay, you see it says this cannot be string to int. Then I will write a extension like this one. You see there is no toInt method. So I'm going to code it myself as an extension to int. It will take this static integer, by the way, to int method. It will take sr value, and it will return sr value. Okay, however, this is not a proper way of doing, because if I call this method with a string that cannot be converted to integers, it would cause my application to crash. So I can do it like this. It would be improper way, by the way. Try and return 0. Or I can manually capture each type of exception. Oh, this can also work, but let's catch exception types. What exceptions can there be? There can be format exception and overflow exception. So let's catch format exception. Format exception, exception E. If format exception happens, I will return -1. And if overflow exception happens, I will return integer max. Okay. I don't need to let's make this overflow exception like this. Okay. So we will test these out in a moment, or just let's test this first. Test different exceptions. Name equal to btn test exceptions. Okay, it is saying that I have invalid markup. Why? Because you see it is case sensitive, therefore I have to fix it like this. Then generate a click event like this, new event handler. It is composed at the back. For now, I am going to comment out this method so that I can run the application. And let's make it like this. Int er1 will be 1 to int. Then there will be int er2. It will be equal to 2 to int. Then there will be this er3. It will be like this. So let's see each of them how our method behaves. So to test that, I did put a breakpoint. Okay, I am clicking my button. Okay, so I am going to use step into method. So my extension is called. By the way, how this has become extension? Because I have added this keyword in front of it. Therefore, now this is an extension of string class. Okay, when you put this keyword in front of the class name, class or the parameter type, it becomes extension. Extensions can be defined with static. Okay. For example, if I remove static board, by the way, this is inside static also, it will tell me that extension method must be static, as you can see. Okay. Okay, and let's continue. I'm rerunning the application. Okay. Okay, so what will happen? I am moving with step into. So it is getting into the try block. It tries to return converts. And now you see the format exception is called. Okay. So therefore I am returning -1. So the value of IR1 is -1. Then I am entering to the second string, and this time it will be successfully returned. So it will be 2, as you can see, 2, and this will cause overflow error because it is bigger than the maximum available number of integers. And let's try it. convert. Okay, you see overflow exception. By the way, how did I know the type of exceptions? When you hover your mouse, okay, it is not visible right now. So it will return the maximum value of integer. So it will be, you see, maximum number of signed integer, by the way, because we are using int. If we were using uint, it would be twice of this value because it would be unsigned. Okay, how did I know the possible errors in convert to int32 method? You see the exceptions are displayed here. So this method can cause two exceptions, which are format exception and overflow exception. So we have covered both of them. If there were many more exceptions, we could also write like this. And this would catch the all other exceptions. Okay. If you didn't specify each one of the exceptions, it would catch the all other ones. Exceptions. This is how it works. And by the way, it says it doesn't return something, so I have to return like this. Okay. All right, this is how we define custom catch methods, catch results, and this catches all, this catches only overflow exception, and this catches only format exception. Okay. So now we have defined our toString extension. Now I can use it here. So car price, and then let's remove these lines. SR color will be like this because it is string already. Then there will be car weight will be like this. However, I need to call to integer. Then there will be car model will be like this. Okay. Then there will be production year will be like this. Okay. And finally there will be LST years. Okay. So what I am going to do, this wouldn't work because this takes list of integers. Therefore I have to convert this into the list of integers. So I'm going to write another extension method like this. It will be list integer to, let's say, int list. Okay. By the way, this need to also take another parameter which will be string sr split key, and we can also set it as default to sr our list separator. Oh, it should be a mass compile time constant. Okay, we can set it that way. Split key. However, we can set it like this, default null, and if it is null, if string is null or empty, we can set it to set sr split case separator. I think this should work. Yes, it is working. Then what this will be returning is list integer lst return list this, and what I am going to do is very simple for each, and what I am going to for each is split by r split key. 1 second. Okay, then so it will be splitted with our split key, which can be provided here, or it can be by default taking here, and this will be vr per split. then I will add simply to this list here per split to int. You see, I will be calling my another extension, and then I will return my list. So you see, I have used this extension as well, and now I will use this extension like this. So this will be load from file. This will load my object from file. Let's test it so you will understand it much better. I am adding another button. By the way, let's just copy this button. So I have copied it, and I will name it as btn load car from file and load car object from text file. Okay, so let's define a new click event. Click equal to new. Okay, and let's compose an empty car, my car to new car. Then I will call the load method. Okay, from file. What is our file name? Our file name is car2.txt. Okay, and we will have our object loaded. Okay, and then I'm going to run my application. And let's load from file. Okay, I am going to step over. So our object is composed with default values. Now I am going to step into the load method. So the file name is car2.txt. So it is reading every line. So the first line is like this. So we will split that line into an what? This will return a string array. As you can see, the first value is SR carburant and the second value is BMV. So what is our split separator? It is this. You see, this is the SHA 256 hashing of the our key, and then this will be entering to our switch, and it will be SR carburant. So the carburant will be BMV. Then it will continue to the next line. So the next line will be IR car price. So it will get into the another switch case. So it will be assigned as 250. Okay. Then the second line will be SR car color, and it will continue again. So I'm going to use continue. You see the value of VR line is displayed here. Let's continue more. Production year. Okay, now we are at the list. So you see the list has a much longer string. I am moving to the next step. Then I will use step into this time. So we can see our method call. So it will check our provided split key is null or not, and it is null currently. Therefore, it will be assigned to our split list separator, and then we are initializing our empty list. Then we will split this value with our split key, and you see the first value is 1850, and it will be converted to integer and then added to our return list. Okay, like this. Okay, like this and like this. Okay, and it is over. Then the list will be returned, and our list is initialized, and the reading is finished. And when I hover my mouse, you see this is my object loaded from file. Let's take screenshot of this like this so we can compare. Okay, I'm opening paint.net. Okay, so this is the loaded from text. Okay, this is loaded from text. And what was our original object? Let's also open it. It was here. Okay, this is the car2 object before we have saved it, and I am going to take screenshot of that object as well. And let's paste it, and let's copy and paste it. Okay, now let's compare. Okay, so let's compare whether they are equal or not. Okay, and 1 second. Okay, so the first items in both lists, okay, you see they are same, and same. Then let's compare other values. Same. Okay, this is, oh, this is not same. As you can see, there is a difference. Why is that? Why there is a difference? Okay, this is same, and this is same, and this is same. Okay, we have a difference. Why is that? Because this is a private value, and therefore there may be difference of private values. However, what is important is the public values. The public values are same, and the private value is not same because we didn't save the private value into the text file, as we don't need it. Okay, so that is why only this value was different, because this is the private value and we didn't save it, but all others are same. Therefore we can say that we have perfectly fine saved our object with our saved file method, and we have loaded it from text file. Okay, I will take a pause here and I will continue later. Okay, so that we have now saved the object into the text file and loaded it, then how we are going to save this list into a text file, then load back it into a list. To do that, we need to write another extension, and this extension or this method will be able to save the list. Okay, to do that, I am going to write an extension like this. Let me show you. First, I am going to move this public class cars into my static methods class here. Okay, so it will require me to add using system IO again. Okay, and okay, so it is now seeing cars class from static methods. Why? Because we have added it to our references like this. And now I am going to write an extension of list of cars. It will be like this. Let me show you. Public okay, cars list. It will take this list cars cars. Okay, so this will be an extension to list of cars. Okay, and what will this do? This is going to save each text file. So to do that, I am going to define another separator. SR, let's say this time car object separator. Okay, we can write here anything that is different than these two. Okay, and this will do this string builder. I am using string builder because it is much faster than addition or concatenation of strings. We have explained that. Build. Anyway, you can give any name you want. It should be descriptive though. Okay, now I need to modify this function, this method. This will return a string or how to do it. Okay, yeah, I am going to modify this a little bit. Return text format of object. Okay, and this will make this, and it will return string builder to string, and this will use this method. Okay, we can't write private void because void and string is conflicting. Okay, then I'm going to define another public method. Public. Oh, I can make this public though, and it will work for me. Let me show you. Okay, so append line and or just append text. We can just append text. Append we are per car and oh, I think we can make it even better. How can we do that? I will use LinQ this time. Yeah. String join should work. Okay, separator will be car object separator, and the parameters will be list my cars, select pr and pr dot return text format. Yeah, and I am going to write this to the text file with our file name. So let's make it var final text and file dot write all text as our file name and var final text. Okay, so this should work, and let's try it. I'm going to call save to file cars list, and let's see how it's saving or not. Oh, by the way, I have to provide file name cars list text. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, car list text is generated. You see it is very hard to read at the moment. And okay, then we need to write another method to load from file into the list. To do that, I'm going to compose another method inside car class, or an extension. Extension can work better. Yes, I will do that. Load cars from file, and this will take okay, this can work. And this time we will read all text. As our file name, and then we are going to do for each split with our car object separator. We are per car object, and then this will do this at I need to compose a new car object. Cars, temp car, load from file. By the way, I need to write another overloaded method for load from text. Okay, so I am going to write another method overload. Or I can modify this one. Yeah, I can do it like this. And how to do that? Is string provided, or let's say false. So these are the lines, read lines. Okay, I think I will modify this into the all lines. Okay, let's make it like this. False equal to final read all lines. Currently, I am not thinking about the performance, and to list. This is converting array into the list, and instead it will be like this. Else it will be like this, as our file name will be split by this. Okay, to list. Okay, this should work. And yeah, let's try. So this time we are going to provide car object, and it will be true, and we will add this car object to the list, and we will return. We don't need to return anything because it will be already. You see, this is the reference type. Therefore, the modification I make to this list inside this method call will be applied to it in memory, and it will work here as well, because it is just a reference of the actual list. We have explained it in the previous lesson. So what I am going to do is run the second example here. Empty cars, and this time we will call load from cars file. Okay, so let's put a breakpoint here to see whether our method is working or not. Okay, now I am stepping into the method, so it will read entire text file. Okay, it is read, and then I am going to split it with our new object separator. Okay, so this is per car object, then it will be provided into the load from file method. So you see now this is true there, this is true, therefore it will treat file name as a string, and it will be splitted into the lines. Okay, they are splitted into the lines. You see there is an empty string at the end, but it is not important because we are using switch method. Keys and everything. Okay, it should work. Then I will return until here. Yeah, and let's see. Okay, our cars are now loaded. As you can see, they are exactly loaded as they have been saved. However, with this methodology, you see I have to write too many codes, and the saved files are almost impossible to read. And whenever I make change to the structure of the class, I have to modify these methods. I have to modify load from file, I have to modify return text format object. So this is not a good way to save my objects into a file. So what else I can do? I can use a dynamically created text files and load from those files. It is so easy. So let's add new buttons to, or just continue with compose car. To do that, we are going to use JSON. Okay, what is JSON if you wonder? What is JSON? Okay.
JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. JSON is a lightweight format for storing and transporting data. JSON is often used when data is sent from a server to a web page. JSON is self-describing and easy to understand.
Okay, so you see the features of JSON. It is pretty awesome, and this is used for a lot of things in the current programming languages or currently programming methodologies. Okay, so to use it, we are going to add a NuGet package. So I'm clicking manage NuGet packages. Then from here, I am going to look for JSON. Oh, by the way, it is by default at the very top. You see it has over 700 million downloads. Wow, this is huge. This is probably the highest download ever. Yeah, from this list it is the highest downloads having package. So I'm going to install it. Okay, you see JSON.NET is a popular high-performance JSON framework for .NET. Okay, with JSON.NET, JSON.NET save object to a file. It is so easy. We use a serialize method. Okay, like this. It is so easy. Okay, our library is installed. Then I'm going to use this cars list JSON, and to use this method I need to add using Newtons of JSON, and it takes the object. Okay, serialize object. By the way, For this to work, the object probably need to be serializable. So if your object is not serializable, it may cause problems. I am not sure because it just takes an object, as you can see, nothing else, any object, and then to load back into the object from text, I'm defining another list of cars, and this time it will be like this: JSON convert deserialize object, and it will take string value, which will be like this: files read all text, and it will be name it as JSON. And what will it return? It will return object. Therefore, I need to make it like this: equal to, and I have to set the deserialization like this: list cars. Okay, so here I am providing the return type, because JSON convert, I mean the Newtons of JSON cannot know which type of object it will return. So to be able to deserialize object from string, you need to provide the result type. Okay, and let's check it how it works. So I'm running the application. You see, we have just read 2 lines of code instead of doing so many methods codings. Okay, expected. Okay, here. So we have spent almost an hour, maybe more, to just write a primitive save and load, and it could get broken every time we make change to the structure of the class. However, with JSON, it is fully dynamic. So let's execute this step and let's see the composite file. It is this one, and you see it is much clear. It is in JSON format. You can also beautify this. Let's beautify it. Okay, and you see it is becoming like this when beautified. So it is, as you can see, pretty readable. You see, and like this and like this. Okay, and let's make load from file. Okay, and it is done. You see, this is the proper way of saving objects into the file and loading them from file. It is very efficient. To increase efficiency storage, you can also zip that text file and return from zip. Okay, so next week I think I will do that. I'm going to take a note. Okay, 1 second. Or maybe this week we can show. Okay, we have seen this, we have seen var. Okay, enum case static constant read only. Converting user of get set these. Okay, these are all done. Okay, I think I will write the today lecture and end the lecture. So I am going to note what we have done today. So let's take our notes. Okay, what else? Okay. Let's say how to read set values. Plus how to assign and okay, this is enough. Okay, and okay, this should be descriptive. Okay, and differently. Okay, what else there is? Okay, cars. Okay, what else? Okay, and switch case var static. And by the way, we have made a read-only object. Read-only object cannot be changed again after it is composed. For example, let's add a button here to see whether it works or not. 1 second. I have added borders incorrectly. So I'm copy pasting this button and I'm going to name it read only and constant. Okay, on click. Okay, so here I will try to change a read-only variable. For example, this is read-only, and I will try to assign, and it will tell me that a static read-only field cannot be assigned except in static constructor or variable initializer. Okay, so here I can write a constructor to set it. What is constructor to set it? Like this, public, or just say static. And this will be the constructor of this static method. And it says me that I can assign it here like this. This would work, but this would overwrite. In the object. And what is the difference between constant? Okay, let's read it.
Constant. The const keyword converts nothing more but a constant. The specialty of these variables is that they need to have a value at compile time and, by default, they are static. This default value means that a single copy of the variable is created and shared among all objects. In case you are using this context via class, you can access them through the name of the class. It is also important that, for complex applications where the solution is referenced, get a local copy of the constant across assemblies.
Okay, so constant is basically same as static. However, you have to define its value at the beginning. So I'm going to say public const, let's say string sr random split key. Okay, this will give me error. Why? Because it is expecting a value to be provided at the beginning. Okay. However, let's make it like this. This below one would work. I'm going to comment them. Okay, so this is the difference of constant and static.
Read-only. The read-only keyword is a special modifier which bears significant resemblance to the const keyword. It can be used on fields, but not on local variables. These fields can either be initialized when declared or at the constructor of our object. This keyword ensures that a variable instance or property of an object cannot be modified after initialization, and such attempts will result in an exception. While const is initialized at compile time, read-only keyword allow the variable to be initialized either at compile time or runtime.
Okay, so can we change constant after initialization? Let's try it. Okay, so this is constant and oh class. Okay, and let's try this. Okay, so this is also not working, as you can see. Variable property or indexing. Okay, and there is also static, and we already know the static. Okay, so core difference.
At the highest level, if we want to differentiate the read-only and const keywords, we could say that the difference lies in when the value of the variable is known throughout the lifecycle of the application. For the read-only keyword, the latest value is known by the runtime. For the const keyword, the value must be known by compile time. The common of these two keywords is that they both cover immutable data types, meaning the value cannot change throughout the life of the application. For the const keyword, the variable marked as such is placed by the compiler in the assembly metadata that defines the constant and metadata and embeds the value into the IL code after initialization. This means that there is no memory allocation for constants during runtime. Under the hood, the read-only value is not a constant, it's stored in the loader heap, which is a memory type that cannot be allocated until the type is loaded. The read-only fields are stored in dynamic memory, the values are accessible only at runtime. Despite being very similar, these keywords use different binary versioning. When an expression references a specific constant, the compiler embeds the value at compile time. This means that, if the value is used in a different assembly, the original needs to be updated and the value changed. The changes in the assembly are not reflected until it is recompiled. When an expression references a read-only field, the value is not obtained until runtime. Change in the value is reflected immediately, the assembly does not need to be recompiled.
Okay, this is important. If you work with assemblies in the future, you will understand that. And okay. Okay, so the conclusion is
the idea behind both keywords is the same. We would like to mark a variable to hold its value during the execution of the application and not allow modification. The first difference is the time slot which initializes the const or read-only variables. The first, const, is initialized during compile time and the latter, read-only, initialized as by the latest runtime. The second difference is that read-only can only be initialized at the class level. Another important difference is that const variables can be referenced through class name, variable name, while read-only can be referenced through instance name, variable name. I have introduced the differences and similarities to the best of my abilities, and I hope you found what you were looking for.
Okay, it says that read only can be referenced through instance name because you can have read only values inside instance having classes as well. Let me show what I mean. So I'm opening our custom cars class here. I'm going to define public read only car, let's say car manufacturer. I'm setting it as global. So I can access this like this here. Can I access it like here? It says it is not available. However, I can access it like this. You see, I can access it as var car manufacturer. Say car equal to. Okay, so however, if I make it like this, v2, I can access this like this. Let me show what I mean. This works because it is okay. This should work. Oh, I can access it like this. Cars2 dot cars dot. Okay. So now it works as you can see. However, this would give an error. Let's try. You see, it says an object reference is required for the non-static field method or property. This below one works because it is by default static, and this would also work. Let me show what I mean. 3. Okay, this also works. And I can even change this value like this. Global way too. Because it is static, it will work. However, others will throw error. Okay, and static constant read only. Static. Okay. Context. Lines. Okay. And join. Okay, also, okay, how to say object into a text file and how to load that object from text file with primitive methodology. How to use or let's say how to utilize JSON, or let's say JSON, and then what was the framework name of our JSON? It was Niftos.json. Okay, and for the next week, show when memory, and what else we need? Stopwatch. I haven't shown it, I guess. Switching enum, and oh, this we didn't see this yet. This some more example related to this. Okay, so this is the end of the lecture. Hopefully see you next week. You will see how my voice is better this time. It is more understandable, it is more smooth and clear because I have purchased a new microphone and new sound card, and I have reduced the noise in my room. To do that, I am working on a new let's say fan, because the fan of my UPS was too loud and I am replacing it. Okay, please join our Discord channel and ask any questions that comes to your mind. Our Discord channel link is provided on any of our repository, like here. Please subscribe our YouTube channel. Also, if you don't know how to use Discord, we have posted a video about it on our channel here. So at the end you will see the how to use Discord video. Please subscribe. We are also looking for volunteer subtitle volunteers to fix our subtitles, and currently the volunteers are like this. As you can see, we are looking for a volunteer to lecture 5 and lecture 6. Okay, I am not going to make a midterm exam. We will have a semester project. I will announce the project details in the following weeks. So let's upload our this lecture to our GitHub repository. Okay. Lecture 6 source code. Okay, end of lecture. Hopefully see you next week. Be careful of coronavirus.